Nick Saban took the podium today at SEC Media Days, but Dallas Turner had the quote of the day.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson, that's me. Jimmy Stein, that's him. Thank you for making us your first listen. Jimmy, I'm just going to start with this glorious video right here.
I mean, the expectations is Joyless Murderball for the season.
The expectations is Joyless Murderball. That's from Dallas Turner.
It definitely stole the day for me. I mean, that's the day right there, because that was really, to my knowledge, and I think friend of the show, by the way, she's been on the show in the past, Esther, Esther Workman. I think Esther may have invented that. She's certainly the one that spread it around the most on Twitter, on Gump Twitter, and the fact that, I mean, that came from Gump Twitter. So the fact that our players know it and use it and like it has made my summer, just because I think it's hilarious that they have heard that. And, hey, I'm all for getting back to it. To me, it's running the football. We've talked about all spring and summer. It's running the football. And not just simply because it's not a play call. That's what I want everybody to understand. Running the football is not a play call. It's an attitude. It's what you do. It's who you are. Running the football on offense is going to help the defense, not simply because, the offense keeps the ball and then the defense can be on the sidelines more. No. The offense running the ball helps the defense because that's what the defense practices against. I'm a huge believer in what I call the symbiotic relationship offense and defense. If all you practice on offense is we're going to spread it out and throw it around, and we're going to have a ball control short passing game with wide splits, and we're just going to spread everything out, you are going to make your defense soft. But if you have an offense where you know what we're going to do, we're going to line up with two tight ends, and our whole offense is going to be the Oklahoma drill, you have just made a really tough defense. And that's what I mean by running the ball. I think is going to cure many of Alabama's ills. And it's going to get Alabama back to that joyless murder ball that Dallas references, where we're not beating teams 60-0. To me, that's not what it means. To me, that means is your team physically has no chance to win this game today. Y'all have no chance. We're too big. We're too strong. We're going to run the ball downhill at you, and you can't stop it. And defensively, good luck getting a first down against this group of killers. I mean, that to me is what Joyless Murderball is. And I think there's a lot of signs that Alabama's heading back in that direction, while hopefully retaining a lot of what we've learned in our time with the spread and tempo, which is, getting the ball outside to your playmakers and getting them the ball in space. I think you can do all of it. You can accomplish all of it in one offense. That's what Tommy Rees is hired to do. Make us tougher. We're going to run the ball. And then that's what we're going to do, but don't lose what we've been, because it's been working. It has been nice averaging over 40 points a game. People complaining last year our offense was terrible, as we were the fourth highest scoring offense in the country.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And speaking of Tommy Rees, Nick Saban essentially waxed poetic about the man. I mean, he was just heaping effusive praise upon Rees. Almost to the point where, I mean, I couldn't help but think, is Nick Saban trying to prime this guy to be his ultimate successor in 20 to 26 years? But no, maybe not. But I just thought it was interesting. And I was asked about it. And I said, I'm sort of thinking this was very calculated by Nick Saban, like everything is, that what he was doing was trying to maybe build up Rees a little bit. Instead of going at it more cautiously. Of course, he's not going to come in and go, I don't know about this cat I just hired. A little bit nervous about him. But, he could have at least been more in the middle about it. Say, yeah, Brees done some nice things. He was essentially saying, Reese is a genius.
Well, I hope Alabama fans don't judge the new offense by points. I know that sounds crazy because ultimately that's the offensive coordinator's job. It's the offense's job to score points and win the game. But I know myself, I'm going to be looking at efficiency. I'm going to be looking at, are the games easier in terms of, 6 of our last 9 road games against Power 5 opponents, 8 have been a struggle to win at all. And Alabama's 6-3 in those games. And those 6 wins, 5 of them were hard. Only 1 was easy. I want to win games a little easier and doing that by ball control and being tougher on defense. I know it sounds crazy to a lot of people who are just going to blow this off, but one of the things for me in terms of evaluating the job Tommy Rees is doing is our defense tougher? Is the defense better? Are they more physical? I'm going to give credit to Tommy Rees and Nick Saban for just committing to that style of offense, which I 100% believe is going to help the defense, as opposed to it's been fun scoring all these points, but these 90-second possessions, it just doesn't help the defense, to say nothing of that's what the defense practices against. And I don't think that helps the defense either. So I'm excited about Tommy Rees. I'm a believer in terms of, look, Brian Kelly likes this guy. Clark Lee also had Clark Lee, the Vanderbilt coach, who's smart. That guy's got like a 300 IQ. Listening to Clark Lee talk about Tommy Rees will get you excited. Clark Lee is a really smart guy. He is a huge fan of Tommy Rees's mind. He waxed poetic. Brian Kelly did as well. This is just rumor. I wish I could have news to report, but the rumor that I happen to believe is that once Monken left Georgia and Kirby Smart knew Monken was going to leave, once Monken made that official, Kirby Smart was initially going to offer the OC job at Georgia to Tommy Rees. So if Nick Saban likes him, Kirby Smart wants to hire him. Brian Kelly tried to take him to LSU, and at the time, Tommy chose to stay at Notre Dame. You got Clark Lee talking about how great he is. Look, and gosh, I've heard people say, well, he didn't really develop a quarterback at Notre Dame. You know what he did? He won big with Ian Book. He won big with Jack Cohn. He somehow won games last year with the starting quarterback hurt and playing the backup, and they were still a really competitive football team with him coaching the number 2 guy. So I think in terms of what he had to work with, he did a really good job, with the quarterback at Notre Dame. So, but listening to Coach Saban, I have so much confidence in Tommy. I'm just really excited listening to Dallas quote. I saw J.C. Latham interview. That was also interesting. Trench King, that's what he calls himself. Latham said winning the Joe Moore Award is the only outcome that is going to please him this year in terms of evaluating the offensive line. That was fun to hear, great to hear. And Latham also shared that him and the team felt a little disrespected in terms of expectations of people saying they had been passed. And I think that's something that we should be excited about here. And so while it wasn't exactly a newsy day, it definitely got me excited about Alabama football this fall, Luke. And I'm just ready to tee it up. I hate that we have to wait another 15 days just to hit the practice field.
All right, Jimmy. Now I'm here. I'm still here. Jimmy. I want to talk about
people are the people that unfortunately were stuck watching that episode that day when we invented Rupert.
Want to talk about LinkedIn Jobs these days. Every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. I promise you, LinkedIn Jobs is the absolute best. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to and helps you find them faster. That is crucial right now. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply, but you want to go check out linkedin.com/lockedoncollege because it's why small businesses rank LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. Jimmy, on the next podcast, we'll be talking about some more countdown stuff. We're going to get into countdown right now. We're going to get into countdown with Kendrick Law. Kendrick Law is somebody everybody seems to be very high on. Jimmy, I'm just going to let you talk about him here for a minute. I'm super high on him. I just want to throw out his statistics. I just had him up here. I don't know what I did with him. Now I found him. How many catches do you think he had last year?
4.
8.
Oh, really?
I'm a little surprised. Okay. But so anyway, what do you think about him, and why do you have him so high if he only had 8 catches?
Because he was a major riser this spring. He's a guy that if we're doing a list of, okay, who showed up spring practice number 1 and really made a move between practice number 1 and practice number 15, Kendrick Law is on that list for sure, along with guys like Danny Lewis, who also made quite an impact this spring, Justice Haynes, Jan Miller. Kendrick is on that list for sure. He has been a warrior in the weight room. He is now our best physical presence outside. I think that's going to get him a big snap share. He's probably going to be our best blocker as Alabama. Again, we're running the football, right? Nothing can spring a truly big run from the running back position like a downfield block by the wide receiver. I think that's going to be Kendrick Law's specialty. I also think he's going to be hell on special teams. But he made a name for himself this spring, Luke, in terms of running routes, getting open, and catching the ball. This was a pretty highly regarded, highly recruited kid. Most of the time you make your biggest jump from year 1 to year 2. I'm expecting to see that. Now, keep in mind, I like Alabama's receiving core more than most. I think it's a pretty deep group. I expect Malik Benson to be the best. I think Ja'Cory Brooks is one of the best 1B receivers out there. Jermaine Burton's going to catch a bunch of balls. And then in that battle for the 4th spot, who's going to catch the 4th most balls? Is it going to be Kendrick Law? Is it going to be Isaiah Bond? Is it going to be Kobe Prentice? I'm not sure. I don't really want to bet against Kendrick Law. My cohort at BOL, Tim Watts, super high on Kendrick Law. And even that gives me a burst of like, hey, this guy's probably pretty good. Tim's got great sources inside the program. So I like Kendrick Law to be one of those year 1 to year 2 guys where people are saying, how come we didn't see more of him last year? And the answer is just simple. He was a true freshman. Kendrick's going to be a good player at Alabama. And again, ripped. This kid is ripped to shreds. He's probably one of the more well-built guys pound for pound on the whole team. Back to you, Luke Robinson.
Oh my gosh. Sorry about that. I hope you got my text.
See, now he mutes me when I'm talking.
No, I was not muted. How long were you there by yourself?
4 seconds.
Okay, that's
an eternity in TV land. We're on TV here. That's what I tell people. People don't know what podcasts and these shows and people that aren't into football. And I have a hard time explaining. They're like, "What do you do every day?" And I'm like, "I'm on TV." And they're like, "No, you're what channel?" I mean, it's just hard to explain. But yeah, we're on TV.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about one of the more controversial, more beloved, and maybe behated players on Alabama's roster. Not behated. That's not even a word, but he's not hated at all. Everybody loves him. Jalen Milroe.
Yeah,
and
Milroe.
Back. Yeah, you screwed up my reintroduction. Way to go.
I'm all fine. I've been ready for this one all summer. There's no one I have to quote defend more on the message board than Jalen Milroe, and it's so many. Look, everybody's entitled to an opinion. It's football, it's sports. I mean, I don't think an opinion it's fine, but there's too much negativism out there about his performances as a freshman number 2 quarterback, who, by the way, is really 2-0, against SEC teams. And yes, there were turnovers. Yeah, I'm not denying it. It's terrible. He can't continue to turn over the ball and be the starting quarterback at Alabama. I'm sure he's aware and is working on that. And that's what the thing is. But it befuddles me of why there is such an emphasis on the negative plays and ignoring. No, and I'm not talking about the runs. I'm not talking about the superhuman runs, which are literally superhuman. Somebody asked me earlier today on the BOL board, Luke, compare Milroe to Michael Vick. And I went back and I looked at Michael Vick's career numbers. And here's a fact. I mean, Milroe can run like Vick. I mean, when people say, it's impossible. I think Milroe's run against Arkansas was one of the fastest recorded miles per hour of any player in college football last season, period. And I think was as fast as any Alabama player ran. I asked somebody inside the program if Isaiah Bond and Jalen Milroe raced, just Bond win easily? And the guy said, I don't know. I mean, that's how fast Milroe is. So, he's in the neighborhood of Michael Vick's speed. And ironically, I looked at Michael Vick's completion percentage. It's 57%. Milroe's completion percentage at Alabama right now, 57%. Now, I'm not saying Milroe's Vick. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that we ignore too much. We ignore the fact he's basically 2-0 in the SEC. We ignore 3 touchdown passes in one game against Texas A&M, and a couple of those were great throws. We ignore the good throws, and all we want to talk about is the turnovers, because he turned over the ball 5 times last year. Well, 2 of those turnovers were in garbage time against, Alabama's third team was in, the other team's third team is in, half stadium is left. I mean, again, I'm not minimizing that, but why do we ignore the good stuff? And here's another fact. Jalen Milroe was the starting quarterback of this team on day 1 of spring practice. Who was the starting quarterback on day 15 of spring practice? Jalen Milroe. He's the one that quarterbacked the ones. So he hasn't been beat out yet. And for no other reason that, because Nick Saban and Tommy Rees put him there. So let's see if he holds on to it. I don't know if he does or not. But I think we all need to be invested in Jalen Milroe improving, whether he's a starter or not. As Nick Saban said today, we need to focus on the development of all 3 of these guys. Who cares who the starter is? All 3 of them need to improve, because we're probably going to need all 3 of them. We needed 2 just last year. We focus so much on the starter all the time, but this is a fact. We needed 2 last year to win games, and we did. We needed 2 in 2017. We needed Tua and Jalen. Jalen got us to the last game. Tua won it. In 2018, Tua got hurt. We needed Jalen. So let's just hope that all 3 of these guys develop, because we're probably going to need more than one of them.
I would argue we needed 2 in 2015. You needed Cooper Bateman to start so that we knew that Jake Coker would be the man.
I think
it's a terrible argument.
I think Coker played better. I'm not saying I still to this day don't like starting Bateman in that game, but do agree with this. Jake Coker was a better quarterback after that. Maybe it lit the fire, maybe. But no, you need more than one. It's ridiculous to go into a season thinking that the number 2 quarterback doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, you remember that scene in the original White Men Can't Jump where Woody Harrelson told Wesley Snipes that I'm assuming you play better when you're mad? I think that's what happened with Jake Coker. He played better when he was mad. We'll end it with this. I just have to show this picture of Kool-Aid McKinstry. And I don't know how to zoom in on this, but he's got the number 1, and I don't know if that's diamond encrusted, cubic zirconium encrusted, but it's got the Kool-Aid Man right there above it. That is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Look, and I learned a new term from my daughter, 16-year-old daughter. I'd never heard this before. Have you ever heard he's got that Riz? Riz, R-I-Z-Z. Have you ever heard that?
I have. I want to say yes, but I guess I can't. I guess I've not heard that.
I'd never heard it. It means charisma. And it looks like my daughter would say he got a lot of Riz. And also drip.
I love it. Cornerback is like the best position for a guy with a lot of swag. And gosh knows Kool-Aid has a lot of swag. I looked at that picture, and the thought that came to me, Luke, was I hate that NIL came around after Dre Kirkpatrick's career. What would Dre Kirkpatrick look like with NIL money? He would be the coolest guy that we've ever seen. Now, I love Kool-Aid's chain. I liked J.C. Latham's TK chain, which he said stands for Trench King, because he says games are won in the trenches, and he's the king down there. J.C. had a lot of confidence today. And, of course, I saw Dallas Turner interviewed live on SEC Network, and he was really good. He was entertaining. He was smart. He kind of came across as a leader. And I couldn't be more excited about this season, Luke. As we record this, we are probably 15 days away from the start of practice, and these last 15 are going to be the longest, most painful days of the summer. We need to get this underway.
I got to leave everybody with this again.
I mean, the expectations is Joyless Murderball for the season.
That's just awesome. Thank you, Dallas Turner. All right, everybody. Until next time, roll tide.
Roll Tide.